Go ahead.
All right, what we're going to do this morning is we're going to make a complete lobster dish, kind of like you'd get at a Joe's Crab Shack, kind of like a boil out type dish. I'm going to go through the whole process of preparing your lobster. We already have the sides cooking. I have my poaching liquid for the lobster to cook in already ready. It's important when you're cooking the lobster to make sure you don't boil it, just like any other type of meat. If you boil it, it gets very tough. These lobsters are Maine lobsters, about 1.5 pounds each. You can see that you have the different size claws. This one is the fighting claw. This one over here is just its regular, hunting and working. On the underside, you have its legs. You have the little like feelers down here to kind of feel the ground as you go. There is a lot of meat throughout the entire body, so we're not going to waste any parts of this. Even the little legs here have a little bit of meat in them. A bulk of the meat is going to be in the claws and the tail, and then there's a little bit of meat inside the body itself. Can't really tell yet what gender this lobster is because I don't have a opposite sex to compare it. One of the big telling factors once we get inside of it is the fact if it has eggs inside. If it has eggs, that's going to mean it's a female. Okay. First thing you want to do is take your lobster and just rinse it off. Helps to remove any bodily functions that have come out of it, vomit, urine, poop, things like that. Okay, so rinse it off. He didn't like that, or she didn't like that too much. It's been in the refrigeration. Those of you who don't want to watch this next part, you might want to turn away in order to better prepare the lobster so it stays like this. When I cook the lobster, the first thing that it's going to want to do is curl its tail. And it really didn't like that. Okay, but it would curl its tail under as a natural defense mechanism. When you're presenting lobsters, it's nice to have it kind of stretched out on a plate. It makes it look nicer. So again, anybody who doesn't want to watch this, make sure you turn away. I'm going to take a couple rods here, insert it, and if you look in the mirror, you'll be able to see above Steven's head. Insert it up through the cavity. That way it keeps the tail nice and straight. Again, it's not going to like this very much. The skewers aren't very strong. There it goes. Okay. So again, that's just going to keep the tail nice and straight so that when I cook it, it stays and I can present it a little bit easier. Again, I have my poaching liquid over here. I'm going to take and put the claws down in first with the tail kind of sticking out and drop the lobster down in. Because of those skewers, I might have to kind of push it down in so that it stays submerged and begins to cook. Okay. Very common misconception is that the lobster will begin to scream. That is untrue. It is basically the air escaping from the inside of the lobster, and you can kind of see some bubbles coming out. That's essentially what you're seeing. So I've added this lobster in here. You can see inside of that pot, there's a lot of different ingredients in my poaching liquid. Very common type of ingredients. We have garlic, we have lemon, we have onions, we have some bay leaves. There's some salt in there, some celery. So just some very common flavorings inside your liquid. Again, you do not want this to boil. You want it just at a very nice light simmer or poach. And if the lobster starts to come out, you might have to keep pushing it down in there to ensure that the entire thing is submerged. If we go over here, we can see the different vegetables we're going to be serving with it. We have some ears of corn that we cut down into bite-sized pieces. We have some baby red potatoes, and then we have some drawn butter or melted margarine that we're going to use to serve and to dip the lobster into. When we start to present, we're going to put this onto a large platter. I'm going to clean my table up here real quick. Since some of the juice from the lobster came out when I put the skewers into it. And again, that's just going to create a nicer appearance. Depending upon the size of your lobster, is how long you're going to cook it for. These are about 1.5 pounds, so you want to go about 12 to 18 minutes. Depending upon the size, you might need to increase that or decrease that a little bit. What we're going to wait for is a nice bright red shell to appear. If you're going to use this lobster for other purposes, you want to cool it down immediately upon cooking. But since we're going to take ours and pretty much instantly serve it, we don't need to cool it. We're going to take it right from the pot, take it to our cutting station, and then go ahead and present the dish.